No reruns today and this Monday. Hope everyone had a great weekend and welcome to the room. If you're watching this in the room, let's give us a shout out. Let us know you're here. And if you're watching this session, give us a little feedback. We like feedback on our sessions here, and we are getting some good feedback. So thank you for those of you who have been chiming in. Well, today's session is a bit off, a little different today. So today we're going to talk about, are you really ready for 2020 training for your employees? Now, we talked about this a bit in the fall, that you needed to plan training, specific education and training programs for your employees for the entire year. And it's February. It's toward the end of February now. So how is it going? Is your plan in place? What kind of programs do you have set up? Well, how are you going to measure those programs? What are the skills needed by your employees at all different levels? What are the competencies needed at all different levels? Do you have a career planning track? Do you have a mentor program? What is going on in your organization to ensure that your employees continue learning, continue performing, and continue growing in their jobs so they can be more productive? So as always, we're going to go to my notes. I have some notes I'm going to go through with you and what we work on with our clients as far as continuing planning their training. I offer this service pretty much for free. Clients call in all the time looking for tips on different programs and whatnot. Happy to take your call, happy to take your email, and what you're working on and what some ideas we may have. I'm going to give you some of those ideas today. But first and foremost, as we've heard we talked about this before, training is an investment. I hear this from CEOs and senior executives that, Michael, training is an expense. It's not an expense. Training is an investment. It's an investment into your employees. It's an investment in your company. It's an investment in their growth. It's an investment in retention. Training is now becoming a huge retention tool, especially if you're on campus. Millennials want to keep learning. They want to learn the latest whiz bang, whatever it is in your industry, and they want to continue learning it. And if you're not going to invest in them to continue learning and growing, trust me, they're going to go someplace else, because other organizations are finding that ongoing education and training is a huge retention tool. So you have to have a plan to grow these young minds into something else. It could be team leadership, it could be supervisory, it could be management, it could be executive, whatever. You need to come up with a plan to take these young minds that are still willing to learn and invest in them and continue to get them to grow. So I'm going to walk you through a couple thoughts I have, a couple things we do with our clients as far as discussing training and investment into training and how you plan for that training. You really need to plan this out. So there are really three populations in your organization. There is the general employee population. These are folks who come to work every day, whether they're working frontline with customers, whether they're working in IT, whether they're working in finance, wherever they're working. These are frontline employees. They have no supervisory skill responsibility. They have no team leadership responsibility. They're responsible for coming in and doing a great job every day for you and then going home every night and coming back in and doing that great job again. So how do we invest into this population? That's the first population we'll talk about. So first and foremost, there has to be some compliance training in whatever training you offer. And we find that compliance training, if nothing else, is the training gets done all the time. Whether it's harassment training, diversity training, generations training, that type of compliance training, ADA, all that compliance stuff tends to get done because you get in trouble if you don't do it. So make sure you have a core set of compliance training gets done for everybody in this general employee track. But you should do other things. So let's talk about the people side first, and we'll talk about the hard skills. So the soft skills are, we call it the know more about me, know more about you training. Some type of assessment training, whether it's DISC, MBTI, whatever assessment you're using internally to get people to understand themselves and others at work, just from a personal knowledge standpoint, is always a good idea. And you can run these programs pretty much open enrollment and just run them every so often. So it's very, very important people know themselves, know others, and how we interact. We also recommend some type of team building training within the team itself. So if your organization is broken into teams, we would recommend some type of team building training. And then we also always suggest some job related training, some hard skills. And if you're in IT, this is pretty easy because you need to know the latest whiz bang. But whatever it is you're teaching your employees on the hard skill side, and it could be just simple Microsoft Excel, PowerPoint, getting them better in those particular skills that will help them be more productive. Do something on the hard skill side. So that's what we recommend for general employee training. We also suggest you do kind of these after work or sometimes before work starts. Sometimes there's an hour of wellness training where clients are bringing yoga instructors and bringing other type of instructors, whether it's dietary instructors, just to do some type of light training, just so employees get together once in a while. So think about that too for the general employee track. Let's move up. Let's go to supervisors. So people who manage other people. So along with the core training we already talked about for employees, what do you add on for supervisors? Well, we recommend you add on, obviously, some leadership skills, some coaching skills, some performance management skills. Again, you also want to do the hard skills for those executives who manage other people because they still have a job to do. So don't forget about the hard skills for people who manage other people. We're finding that generational training is also good for these folks, because managers these days are managing all types of generations, especially if they're millennials. They could be managing people that are a lot older than them. So stick in some generation training within that supervisory skill training. People who manage other people. We also recommend supervisory skill training before they become supervisors. We work with a lot of organizations where supervisors are having a real tough time. I always ask the HR director, what were they taught before they got the boss, diploma, if you will? Usually not much. So if you identify some high potential employees in the general employee tracking and know they're going to be supervisors someday, do some supervisory skill training before they become a boss, because it's very important for them to be successful, especially those first few months. So supervisory skill training, we add upon on the general employee training, we add some layers of management, leadership, and maybe some generation work. You're also going to do some of the stuff you did for the general employee track and some hard skills. Then we go to the next level. So for me, the third group are the senior executives. Okay, these are people who actually run the business. It could be a dozen or so folks, could be 20 or so folks. These are the folks who manage managers, who manage supervisors, who have divisions, who make strategy decisions for the organization. They still need the basic training everybody else is getting. So they still need, believe it or not, compliance training, because the stories we hear in the news these days, senior managers still need a lot of compliance training. You want to do some of the training you're giving to supervisors, so they still manage people. They manage, higher level people, but they still manage people. So the coaching, the performance management, the leadership skills, managing generations in the workplace, all very, very important. You also need to come up with a set of hard skills, because these folks still need to learn more about their job, and you need to make them better at their job. So they still need some hard skill training along with their soft skill training. We would always add into this group some type of community engagement training, because normally senior executives are out in the community talking about the business, whether it be in association groups or chamber groups. So it's very, very important that they know how to articulate the message of the company to the community at large, or to the public. So we would recommend some either public speaking or some community engagement, or working with them to make sure they're engaged in the community so that your organization is looked at as a community partner. So that type of training we would add into the senior executive training. With some of our clients, we also offer coaching, executive coaching, and it's maybe not as cachet as it was maybe 20 years ago, but there was a time where every senior executive had a coach, whether it's a life coach or a business coach, and we still offer coaching, and coaching is still part of a strategy for training senior executives. A lot of senior executives won't go to a public seminar. They may go to Harvard or one of these other, advanced business courses, which is also good, should be part of the plan. But a lot of them like to have this one-on-one training, so somebody that they can work with one-on-one. And so we still offer one-on-one training, and we offer 360, which is part of this process or part of the supervisory process, depending if you want to add in 360. It's always good to get multi-rater feedback. So those are options too when it comes to senior executive training. So we have general employee training, we have supervisory skill training, we have senior executive training. We have it all mapped out, we have it all budgeted. And so now we should be in a place where we can start delivering training, whether you do it internally, a lot of our clients do, or you outsource it to folks like us. That's okay too sometimes. Sometimes it's okay to outsource something. But a lot of our clients do their work internally. We give them a lot of tools to do that, but they also do it internally. So we are available to have this conversation, this deeper conversation. So ping me, call me, get a hold of me, and I'm welcome to have this conversation with you. So I see we're about end of our time, so I do want to wrap up with you. Training is an investment, not an expense. This is Mondays with Michael Live here on Facebook. We'll see you next Monday, either me live or we'll do one of our favorite repeats for you. Have a great week. Take care.